Today I want to spend a little bit more time talking about sports and how it affected me in the process of playing organized sports. It's very, very different than just playing a pickup game of basketball or flag football or whatever. There's a lot of preparation that goes into it, and each level you play at, whether it's junior high to high school or high school to college, and I never played pro, I wasn't that good, but I imagine at the pro level it's even just that much more intense. But most people don't realize that there's a lot of time spent in the classroom to prepare for the organized sports. The classroom time, watching film or video of the other team, is very important because you get an idea of what they're doing, their blocking schemes if you're on defense, or their defensive stunts and lineups and tendencies and things if you're on offense and playing against their defense. You have to understand what they're trying to do and look for their tendencies and any little detail that can help you. For example, as a defensive end, I would watch my tackle that's across from me or the tight end across from me, and you could usually tell whether it's going to be a pass play or a run play simply because of the way the tackle or the tight end was leaning. A little bit more difficult if it's a tight end because normally they'd be going out for a pass and they would lean forward on either play. But a tackle, if they're going to be in pass protection, they tend to lean back a little bit so they can get out of their stance and stand up quicker. If it's going to be a running play and they need to come out after you, they're going to be leaning forward. It's little keys like that that you're watching that make all the difference in the world of your success, because when you see that, you know, okay, I'm going to put on my pass rushing gear at this point, and it makes you a lot more effective. When we were practicing as a defensive end, it was pretty simple because there's only, maybe 5 or 6 different blocking schemes they could run at you. And so we would just practice over and over and over those blocking schemes and what we're supposed to do as soon as we see that move from the offensive player. And it gets ingrained into you. You move automatically. You don't have time to think, okay, let's see, he's blocking down and the guard's pulling out. That means I have to do this. It's just automatic. And that's the way we are in our minds with life. Everything is automatic. If you have a short fuse and are a hothead, it takes something very simple to set you off. And you can't control it because it's your reaction. What you have to change is the motion in front. And Jesus is the only one who can tell you that when you're in the classroom. Your time alone like this with him, just sitting and listening to him give you wise instruction. And what he does is he changes your mindset. He tells you things that you need to change that you don't think, well, why do I need to change that? It's not sinful. For example, for me, I was watching TV, especially sporting events, especially my Iowa Hawkeyes, because I would get real intense like I was in the game. And that would cause me to lose my temper and yell and scream at the TV and do stupid things. The peace that I have from not doing that far outweighs the watching of the game. And that's what changes your attitude, because now you're not allowing things into your mind that trigger you to go all the way there on the other side. There are other things that he'll tell you that need to change, and you don't understand why. Like when he told me to move to Mexico, I really didn't understand why. But after being here for a while, I could start seeing all the different reasons mount up. And it's amazing to me. I mean, he knows what you need to do. One of the devotionals today was talking about faith versus common sense. Common sense would have told me, no, you stay in Iowa. It's ridiculous to move to a foreign country and start over. But faith in God said, no, you move, because that's what he told me to do, is move. And you don't know what he's doing in you by moving you or having you stay in a certain situation, because I was dating a girl for quite some time and found out she was cheating on me. And my instinct was, okay, that's it, I'm done. But God had a different idea. and he made me stay. And it was through that relationship, or through that turmoil, that he taught me what real love was. That it's patient and kind, good and gentle, merciful, slow to anger, etc., etc. What's in 1 Corinthians 13. And reading it, I read it many, many times, but I never lived it. And until this happened. And through this process of knowing that it happened, that she cheated on me, and I stayed there anyways, how it came into my life in a whole different level than if just reading it and saying, oh, that's a cool little definition of love. The point is that we have to have our quiet time in meditation and listening to wise instruction, but we also have to have our time where now it's time to go out and practice it. And then there's the third thing where you actually show up on game day and you have to play. And keep in mind, when you're practicing, you're playing against your teammates that, number one, aren't running those offensive plays every single day, and number two, they're not as big and quick. Because if you're the starter, you're the better player. And the ones that aren't the better players are the ones that are running the offensive blocking schemes against you. So long and short is, when you get into the game, it's at a whole different speed and a whole different strength and a whole different level. Not to mention the fact that when you show up for practice, your mindset is very different than when you show up for a game, because mentally you prepare yourself very, very differently. So long and short is, the time alone with God is every bit as important as every other aspect of your life. And you'll find that when you spend that time alone, and the things he teaches you and the things that you learn, that changes who you are, so you have that peace and you have that true love in you, will affect your sales tremendously. Because like myself, with selling real estate, and you're selling $500,000 or $1 million home, the person that's buying it, they're not going to write that check if they don't trust you. And if you have the peace and tranquility and love of God in you, they'll trust you. They will. And they'll feel good about writing the check and the process. But if they don't trust something in you, they're not going to write the check. They'll find somebody else, or they'll just not do it, period. It's extremely important to understand that, and understand the process, and how to understand how to relate with people. And the one that can teach you that better than anybody else is Jesus. I can't say enough about it. You've got to spend time alone with him, like I am right now, and it pays big dividends. More so than just getting up and going to work at 4 in the morning and working till midnight or something like that. Those hours spent, yes, it's production, it's whatever, but at the end of the day, again, you'll find people that, you can sell a $100,000 house to, because they don't have another option, because the good realtors are out selling $500,000 and $1 million homes. But do you want a paycheck of $3,000, or do you want a paycheck of $60,000 on a bigger ticket? And you have to write a lot of little deals in order to match or make the same amount as doing the bigger deals, and a lot more work and a lot more headaches. So it's very, very important to understand the mental aspect of it, the spiritual aspect of it, and practice it. Peace.